I'm Randy. That's Josh. Josh, say hello to all the nice people that are watching.
Hello, nice people.
That are watching.
Yes, of course. Yes. How
Probably
else would
watching.
they see this? Right?
Hopefully watching. Last time we spoke, it was way back in July.
Was
like
it really?
6 months ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I don't think that's how the math works.
It's been
here.
a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I have been begging for you to come back, but you are apparently a very busy guy. It's like trying to book Kanye. So
it's
welcome back.
Apparently the parently part of it is
Yes.
I think the largest detractor from getting together.
Well, welcome back.
Hey, thank you very much.
The viewers love to see you. The biggest and most exciting news since we were together last, I got my Meshtastic network up and running, and I have finally been able to achieve my lifelong goal, which was to be able to contact you in the event of an emergency to check on you and make sure you're okay. And
Thank you for checking in.
See if you're still my friend. But that's assuming that, because you're pretty far away from me.
Yes.
I think we said 30, 35 miles over at least one big range of mountains. There's a huge, because I'm up high, I'm atop the Golden Hilltop, but there's a much bigger Golden Hilltop called Mount Santiago and a whole range of mountains between you and I. So we've got no direct line of sight.
Yeah, you're a little bit north of that. If it was just drawing a straight line across, I'm kind of aiming a little bit more north to get to you, right? So I kind of slide through that Santiago Pass, almost like the 91 does, a little bit north of it.
But there's no direct line of sight between us.
Oh, correct. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So we could never reach each other on simplex, and of course, in a shit hit the fan type situation, all the repeaters would be down. Me being able to reach you on the Meshtastic network assumes that all the nodes between us, of which there are several, are also up. Mine will be up because I've got a battery backup that lasts for weeks. Yours will be up because you're on the solars, right?
Yep.
But it's doubtful or not. I can't rely on the fact that everybody else will be up in between us. So in an emergency, you might be on your own. I'm sorry to tell you.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I'll prepare accordingly.
Yeah. But here's the problem with the Meshtastic that I've been trying to get my head around. I haven't really figured out. I don't know what the use case for it is. Right? What do you use it for? Other than finding anonymous men to chat with?
Yeah, I can give you two examples of times I've used it, and it was quite successful. The easiest one was I flew into the big island of Hawaii, and I brought up my node, turned it on, set it on a little desk in my hotel, and I had connection to the entire mesh of the entire island chain. All the islands are meshed, and I was able to...
That's just people, right? That's not
just people.
The government or anything, right?
No, that's just people doing Meshtastic stuff. And I was able to get some information on where one could get a particular type of poke that my wife likes and is not something that would be in the touristy spots.
Is that game? The poke game?
Yeah, the but just the fish type. No, there's like a certain type of sea snail or something like that they make poke out of, and she really likes it.
And wait, what do you eat that?
Yeah, I've had it before. Yeah, I've had it before. It's fine. But most of the tourists are having like tuna poke, salmon poke, that kind of thing. So you had to like find somebody that more local types that would know where it's at. And I got good advice. There was a lot of people that were like good advice. They were also doing like mock, I would say, emergency nets. Like while I was there for a week, and I got to see them communicating back and forth, doing check-ins and stuff like that. Kind of just health and wellness, like, this station can monitor this station can hear this person, this station can hear this person. So in an ad hoc kind of way, they have a pretty good communication path. Yes, it's just text messaging. I know people think that that's somehow less valid of a communication mode, but it was great. The second example, DEF CON in Las Vegas. Holy smokes. There was over 1,200 nodes all connected at DEF CON.
And it didn't choke down and die
no,
because
it worked perfectly. The configuration for it was set to fast and having very, very short bursts of data, and it was fantastic. So again, we got into town. I got the hotel room, turned the Meshtastic on, and just boom, I could hear everybody. And it was the evening, like it was Thursday evening or something like that. I got into the show late. And so I was just chatting with people. They were off to this party. People were like doing Meshtastic when they were like at a pool party, and they were able to ping some of the larger nodes that people had set up. And I was able to get all kinds of questions answered, like, do I need to bring anything else to get my badge? Do I need to do this? Because I was a first timer at DEF CON. Worked perfectly. It worked great. It was probably faster doing it that way than trying to scour the internet for an answer, because you're going direct to the people that are there, for instance.
So I guess it does have some uses. I always thought the best use would be in a emergency or shit hit the fan type situation where you needed secure communications, because you can do secure encrypted texting, right?
Well, yeah. So if you're in an emergency situation, right? So let's say just your town loses some level of communication. I don't know. Make up a boogeyman hypothetical emergency situation in your head, and you're going to have a channel for the community, talking to the community. Hey, who needs this? I'm running out of this. Can we trade? Blah, blah, blah. But then you can make a separate channel that's just encrypted, and that could be for like your friends, your family, the people that you only want to be able to hear this, that, and the other that you're saying, right? So there's all kinds of reasons why you might want to have selectively different communication paths for folks like that.
All right. So I guess it's not totally worthless. I got a solar node.
Yep.
I don't know what kind you have, but it's probably similar. I haven't put it together yet. It's from Meshnology.
These names, buddy. They're coming up with them.
So it's the solar panel, the waterproof box, it's everything. I just got to piece it together, and you don't have to assemble all the boards and memory and chips and all that. It's all I just have to screw the bolts together and then climb up on the roof and put it somewhere. So I'll give that a try. That should be pretty cool.
Get it up as high as you can.
Yeah, well, I'm already up pretty high. Again, I'm at the top of the golden hilltop. So I may set it up as a repeater node mode, but I don't know. I'll see. They say you shouldn't do that.
Is this the mesh tower, solar powered jobber?
I think they just call it the mesh node. It's like $240.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
the panel, solar panel, the box, and an antenna.
If it's the one I'm looking at right now, that looks real capable, because you've got a big old panel on that sucker.
Yeah. It should work. We'll see. I got to get around to putting it up. On to more exciting news. In our last video, way back in July, we talked about a CB radio jammer that, going back to 1999, has been hit with, I think, a total and about $30,000 worth of fines. Not really fines. They're apparent notices of liability from the FCC, which he has still not paid. And on our last video together, which was way back in July, a guy that lives near that jammer left a comment saying that the jammer is a nuisance to the airwaves and the FCC needs to do something about him. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, the FCC has done something about him, right? They fined him multiple times. He's got a bunch of mean letters.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't stopped. He's still committing his crimes against humanity. The FCC has done all they can, and they can't stop him. So is this kind of proof that the FCC really has no direct power?
Yeah, you can help me out on this, because I do know that it has come up in the past that the FCC can confiscate equipment. When can they do that? You've heard the same thing, I assume?
I don't know. I know that they used to do that back when I was a kid in the 70s, when they actually did have some teeth. They used to do that often. And I know that they have done it since. I remember there was a case that we talked about a long time ago about a guy that was jamming police frequencies in New York, I think. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it was the FCC that grabbed his equipment or if it was the actual police. I
think it's the latter.
Because that's a felony type matter. That's not just an FCC rule violation. So the answer is, I don't know, Josh. I don't know when they can confiscate. But even if they did go in and confiscate it, all of his equipment, all he's got to do is drive down to the truck stop and buy another linear and another Cobra radio, and he's back in business. So that, again, they can't stop him. They can take his toys away, but he can buy more toys. Yeah. So what power do they really have?
I don't know. Because, hearing what you're saying, if that's exactly how it's going down, which it certainly sounds like that's how it's going down.
Well, there's other guys, too. The guy, who's the guy here in L.A.?
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but Billy's been fighting the FCC forever. He's the guy that jams the Wharfinet on ham radio. Yeah, that's a just he and I think a couple other people. Oh, they've fined him. I think he was up until recently, I think, the largest award winner for the biggest fine, apparent liability notice. And yeah, they're these unhinged lunatics in some cases that just can't help themselves. Right, they must jam.
Yeah, must jam. Now, I guess if I assume that as part of that notice of apparent liability, they could put a lien on your house or something like that, on your property. I'm guessing. I don't know that. But if I, such as myself, I'm a homeowner, I wouldn't want to find out the hard way that they could put a $100,000 lien on your home. But if you're living in the basement of your parents or living in some rental flop somewhere, if you have nothing to lose and you got no job, you got no money, what are they going to do?
Yeah, I think some of these guys, they live in they just live in like a trailer park, and one of them does, I think, and yeah, they just don't care. They don't care. What do you do? I don't know. At some point, you've got a process. The process seems like broken in a way that the hardest core amongst us, if you will just ignore it and just keep racking up these apparent notices. And what happens if they never pay? Well, I don't know. Yeah. Have we ever had such reckless abandonment in the space? And is people are just like, I just don't want to deal with it, right? The FCC, I guess, could deal with it, but how would they do it? I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
We know that they can refer to the Department of Justice, but then I don't know what they do. And I don't know. Maybe the good viewers do know. I'm sure now the viewers will leave all kinds of comments about people in the 1960s that went to jail and stuff. But if anybody knows in these modern times what happens when you don't pay an FCC, I keep saying fine. It's not a fine. It's a notice of apparent liability. If you don't give the FCC their money, then what? And a lot of people have said, a lot of people have, when they're hating on me because I say these truths, or when I say that I don't have a ham radio license, they say, well, why not just not get a driver's license and drive around, right? What's the difference? You're not going to get a ham license, don't get a driver's license. But the difference that I don't think they notice or realize is that if I'm driving around without a driver's license, not driver's license, assuming that I don't know what I need to know because I don't have the license, you could injure someone, right? You could hurt somebody. You could kill somebody driving around if you don't know how to drive. I don't think you can hurt anybody playing on your walkie-talkie.
Walkie-talkie, no. But wait, you're not transmitting on amateur radio frequencies without a license.
I didn't say that, Josh. I did not say that. I would never do such a thing.
Okay.
I have no reason to, but I do play with radios, and I do not have a ham radio operator license.
Yeah, so, boy, we've talked about this, and I think I've pretty much had the same argument.
I think we talk about it every time.
Yeah. So, they're handhelds. If you're using them on frequencies you don't have privileges on, just go get privileges because the spaces are finite. It's the same answer we always give, is that the electromagnetic spectrum, the frequencies, there's only so many places someone could use a frequency there. And so just by being a human, you don't have an inalienable right to those frequencies, right?
Well, because some people disagree.
It's a limited resource. Oh, I know.
Some people disagree.
I know. Yeah, and it almost comes down to a political... It literally lines up with political philosophies. If there is a resource that's limited, a government or worldwide group, organization, whatever, has to, this is in my opinion, has to do their best job possible to hand out those resources in a way that makes sense to the people that can use them, right? And they just happen to use the licensing to denote that this person is capable and willing to follow the rules to use this finite resource. Is it a perfect system? No, of course not. As obviously you are pointing out via the issues we have with the various radio services.
One of the other differences between my comparison of a driver license and a ham radio license is that if you screw up without a driver license, the police will come and take you to jail. The police actually have power to do something, and confiscate your car, and that is a pain to get back and expensive.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, we're back to the FCC apparently can't really directly do anything.
Now let's turn into the skid a little bit on that one. So let's treat the radio services like different types of roadways, right? So the freeway, where it's the most dangerous if you don't know how to drive and you don't have a license, you could hurt a lot of people. That's like taking a Baofeng and interfering on first responder frequencies. Right?
Okay.
That could cause the most damage to someone. You go arrest them. You go take their radios, their boofwangs. They are illegally transmitting on the frequency that the firefighters use to guide in the planes that are doing the drops or the helicopters doing the drops. We've seen that. That person got a big old fine, right?
Has he paid it?
Don't know. But there you go. Right? That's an example of like, let's go at them. Now, so that's the freeway. So CB and amateur radio GMRS, that's more like what's the impact to society? It's more like bumper cars. It's more like not following the right processes in a bumper car rink. Is anybody going to get hurt? Not really. Maybe somebody's going to wake up in the morning with a sore neck, but you don't like take away the bumper car necessarily. Is that like a perfect analogy? No, but just kind of going with what you're saying there as far as comparing it to roadways, there's very little societal impact from people behaving poorly on the bands other than we look like idiots. We look like we don't deserve to have this shared resource being adjudicated the way we're doing it, right? And then the FCC, the International, the ITU, they might start saying, why are we holding frequencies open? We could just sell them to some satellite company and make buku bucks, and we'll all be much happier, right?
Oh, can you imagine the wailing and gnashing of teeth?
They'll all scream about it when it's gone, but nobody's doing anything about it.
No, there was a certain segment of some people that would scream about it, but most normal people wouldn't know or care. But I get your point. I agree. Because I use some of those radio waves myself when we're off-roading and for the Meshtastic to make sure you're okay in an emergency, right?
They want 900, baby. 915 is where Meshtastic is in the U.S. And they want that. They want that for those frequencies, big time.
All right, so I'm going to stop abusing it. Speaking of the FCC, the FCC sent a mean letter to a licensed amateur operator in Illinois that was transmitting on 20.8 megahertz and was somehow causing interference on the 10 and 30 meter bands, which 20.8 megahertz is not part of. 10
megahertz is 30 meters.
Right, and he was on 20.8. So licensed ham radio operator. Oh, he was licensed. His license was from the Bahamas. And in the complaint from the FCC, he had said or claimed that he was able to transmit on those bands from his Bahamian
Bahamian? I don't know what it is.
Is that, yeah.
I don't know.
He said that his license let him do that, but he wasn't transmitting on ham frequency, so it does not let him do that. So he got a mean letter.
Uh-huh.
And if he ignores that mean letter, if he's not careful, he might get another mean letter.
Yeah, so I think if I understand this correctly, his transmissions were on 20.8 megahertz. They were outside the two closest amateur radio bands, right? Which is 17 meters and the 15 meter band. Which no amateur radio license, whether issued by the United States or another reciprocal U.S. operating privileges, allow transmission on frequencies outside those bands. So 20 megahertz, straight up, not amateur radio, right? He's like in a free bander space. So this is, it's not even ham radio related, just because the guy has an amateur radio license and is using an amateur radio license as a defense, it sounds like, possibly. This is just straight up, I don't have the privileges to transmit in that space. Like, whatever those privileges are, I don't even know. But yeah, no, he's not permitted to transmit there.
And yet he was a licensed ham radio operator.
Yeah, you know what's funny is he was using a flex radio to do it. I'm reading it right now, which is a buku expensive radio. And to be able to do that, to modify the radio to do that transmission, you actually have to go like multiple steps beyond just buying this, $5,000 radio.
So it wasn't an accident.
No.
The FCC sent another mean letter to another licensed amateur radio operator in Utah. It was transmitting on 173.3 is it .675 or .675? When you have a license, how do you say that? 173
dot. I don't care either way. It doesn't bother me either way. Really.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's going to care. Is it dot or is it point? Audience, let us know. 173.675 megahertz, which is reserved for national park and BLM use. That's Bureau of Land Management, not that other BLM. So he got a mean letter from the FCCs. I don't think he had a defense. He was just being a dickhead. And I would like to point out that I have gotten probably hundreds of comments across my videos over the last couple of years saying that, lambasting people that don't have a ham radio operator's license, talking on these ham radio bands, that getting a license would prevent you from making these kind of mistakes, right? If you just had just get your ham radio license and these things won't happen, talking on, bands you're not supposed to be talking on. Yeah. And yet all these guys, not just these guys, in the past, people doing the same thing, they're all licensed radio operators. They all have licenses, and yet they're still making these mistakes.
I can't understand where those people are coming from, obviously, because just like the last person.
Which people? The people complaining or the people
complaining?
Doing it?
Yeah, I don't understand the people complaining, because just like the last person with his multi-$1,000 radio that they modified to be able to go outside of the amateur radio space, this person also likely had to modify a radio to go outside of the licensed space. As you well know, right? Baofangs, they have a frequency space that a lot of them are locked into. If you want to open that up, you have to go look into how to do that to get wider transmit space capability. And maybe he would just had an old radio that could do that. That's true. But a lot of radios now, you got to go multiple steps forward towards this direction. You have to be conscious of it, is what I guess I'm saying is. It doesn't matter if you had a license or not. You've got to go and figure out how to do this. A lot of people aren't falling into this unallowed transmission space, this non-privileged transmission space, just unconsciously. They're not like, I turned my Baofeng on and it just started transmitting, some music that I was listening to in my car nonstop for 12 hours. I had no idea, right? Like this, you're doing it with intention in almost all these cases. I know these people feign ignorance, but I don't see it. It always seems like they're intentionally doing it.
I think they always are. And then that's probably why, obviously why the FCC went after him, because they were doing it intentionally and causing some trouble.
And I think you and I have both talked about this. These people generally have to be doing this for a long time. Like they have to be it has to be peak critical emergency situation that they're interfering with, where like one strike and you're out, or they got to be just maliciously transmitting in the same space, just annoying the crap out of people for a long time to get the FCC to send these nasty grams.
Now, not according to some people that keep leaving comments on my videos saying that if I turn on my Baofeng and accidentally transmit on, one time while I'm off-roading miles from anything, I'm going to go to jail.
And the FCC surveillance balloon is overhead, and they've got constant receiving capability for 2 months, right? Like they'll pop you right off the. No, it's come on, come on, everybody, you know this.
Yeah, some people.
That's right.
FCC also sent a mean letter to a guy in Utah that was
Utah, man. It's the second one. What's going on, kids? That's where the balloon's overhead right now is what's happening. The balloons.
That must be it. Yeah. And then it'll be over New Mexico. And
right. It's just going over.
Right. He was interfering with a FAA weather radar that
why?
Okay. Well, okay. So the weather radars operate in the Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz, 5.6 gigahertz range.
Yeah.
And he had so this guy was not licensed. He was just a normal person.
Okay.
He had, I think it was some kind of Wi-Fi amplifier.
Oh, okay.
So, and it works the other way around too. If you have the new Wi-Fi 6 standard router and you live near an airport, like me, if those weather radar are blasting in your direction, you'll lose temporarily just throughout the day if you're on one of those channels, because it's only one of the channels that Wi-Fi 6 uses. You'll lose your connectivity. You'll get slow downloads, for that period of time that it's swooping your house or whatever. So it works both ways. Anyway, he was interfering with their radar, and he got a mean letter. And if he's not careful, he may get another mean letter. So
that's interesting. I'm not going to bring up my talk about my buddy with his cable TV amplifier because people now understand. Thank you, dear viewer, for letting me explain the story again. So now y'all get it. But this is another example. So it sounds like this device was either misbehaving, or he was using too much power output, or he was probably blasting somebody or some business or something along those lines without a license. And so he got popped. So he was probably doing it for some time. Yeah, interesting. This one seems fairly benign. This dude just needs to stop.
Yeah, and I'm sure he did. They made him aware of it. I'm sure he turned it off and said, oops.
Oopsie. My bad.
Sorry about that. I think he has to respond in writing and say, oops. Probably the biggest source of clickbait and radio dork panty wetting so far this year. The biggest story, no doubt. A proposal to the FCC from some guy to add low-frequency channels to GMRS.
Jason talked about this, right?
It's in my notes. Our good friend Jason.
Thousands and thousands of views on this video.
Yes, and it's all over the My GMRS forum. Just these guys are just pissing themselves. I assumed you made a video too about it. Have you made a video?
No.
Okay. I didn't either because it ain't never going to happen.
Oh, well, tell us why, Randy. Tell us why.
Let me tell you I am the queen of all this GMRS.
You know everything. They got to go through you before any of this happens to begin with.
Well, yeah, I have to give it my approval.
And they have not come to the king to get fealty to allow this to happen.
Not yet. So the FCC, let me tell you why. Okay. The FCC rarely, it is a cold day in El Monte that the FCC changes.
That's a local town by me, kids.
Yeah. If you live in California, you know what I'm talking about.
Man.
It is rare that the FCC changes anything.
No.
Right? It's very, very rare, especially something that would be kind of big like that. But then to make use of these new frequencies, again, this is just a proposal. It's just some guy or a group of guys that wrote a proposal. Anybody can write a proposal. I can write a proposal. As a matter of fact, I might start writing proposals.
Why not?
For the FCC.
Why not? Everybody gets a boofway.
Right. It's just some guy's suggestion to the FCC.
Yeah.
So in order, if that were to take effect, you would have to basically make GMRS radios dual band, right? Because GMRS is UHF, and this guy proposes adding VHF channels, lower frequency channels.
Yeah.
So now a GMRS radio would have to be dual band to take advantage of those channels, which would make GMRS radios more expensive, which would kill the $20 GMRS radio market.
Yeah.
So and then killing GMRS, because to be honest, most of us use $20 GMRS radios. And finally, the biggest reason is because 22 channels is enough for what we use GMRS for. Stop trying to make GMRS into ham radio.
Yeah.
So, what say you, Josh?
Yeah. So let's talk about this for a second. So, boy, can I enhance this? Yes, I can. Okay, good. So this is the frequency allocation space for land mobile, aeronautical mobile, ham radio's in here somewhere. It's right here. So I'm trying to. It's on this line right here, but it starts at 108 megahertz and it goes all the way up to 216. Now, I don't know about you, but there doesn't look like there's any space that's not being allocated by somebody.
Well, if I remember his proposal that some guy wrote up, there was something in there that he was proposing that wasn't. It was open. It was not in use. I could be wrong. The viewers will leave comments to correct us both.
Okay.
So I think it wasn't in use.
Okay. So if there truly is a space needed, if there is a vacancy, then why not? Let's talk about it, right? I don't have a problem, but I share your opinion that it's probably a cold day at El Monte that this would actually go through, particularly because they're not making any money on that, right? there are a number of, like we just said, satellite stations, satellite companies that want some of these frequencies. Probably not the high end of VHF. They're looking for UHF and up. But there's probably somebody else. It does look, so right where my cursor is, I don't know if you can probably see it. That's the amateur space right here. And there's amateur satellites in there, and then next to it is mobile fixed. You got MERS that's in there somewhere as well, the multi-use radio service. Fixed, mobile.
Why not just add
mobile.
MERS to GMRS? Right, that would make sense.
That's a hell of an idea, to be honest with you. I'm.
This is why I'm the queen.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'm sure there's probably a good reason. But at the same time, yeah, okay,
It'd be the same thing, right?
Right. Now, I have always said that I think the way the FCC and keep in mind the FCC didn't conjure all this up, right? These are radio services that are kind of international agreements. We share some similarities between the verbiage that we use. The write-up for the intention of GMRS, just on the FCC website, it's very succinct. It's very easy to understand what the purpose of this is giving GMRS more range, which you probably get a little bit more range outdoors with VHF over UHF. Is that really the need of that service? Probably not. Is the service not meeting the intended goals set forth by the FCC? I don't think so at all. I think GMRS is giving the people who get the license exactly what they pay for, and I think by and large everybody's happy with it, or most people at least. I don't know. What do you think?
We're very happy with our GMRS.
Yeah,
Just
I think so.
Keep your sweaty ham fingers off our GMRS.
I don't know that it's
fingers out
hams.
of my GMRS pie.
It's probably not hams, because if it was a ham, they just said, give hams those frequencies. Give us more frequencies. Hams will take more frequencies. Right? Why would we?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could have a point there.
Yeah, it's probably not a ham. It's or it's a ham, and they're like, this ham radio stuff's too complicated for me. I'm going to go to GMRS. That's the
and
simple,
I'm going to mess it up.
And I'm going to mess it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to hamify it.
I'm going to hamify it.
Another story also resulting in wet panties all over the country. And this one,
Sodden.
I back this one. The ARRL League of Extraordinary Gentlemen has started a grassroots campaign to prevent power-hungry and out-of-control HOAs, that's Homeowners Associations, from prohibiting amateur radio antennas on the roof of the home that you freaking own.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
They do this today.
So, are you in an HOA?
No, but HOAs already have this power. They have whatever
power these little power-grubbing fiends want to give themselves. Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So is this a problem in the ham world? Actually, I know it is a problem in the ham world.
It is. Can I talk about this for a second? I love this.
No,
go
let's
ahead.
not talk about it, Josh. No, go ahead.
But
so
I
do
do
they
want
have
to
a
cut
chance? Can they?
Yeah, I think so.
It'll happen?
Boy, howdy. This is a real good one. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk about this. So I had David Minster, the CEO of the ARRL, on my channel last week, and we did a live stream talking about this. The ARRL has pushed 2 bills to the House and the Senate to give hams in HOAs. By the way, this would work for GMRS too. We're going to talk about this. This helps
I was going to ask, is it the same if I had a GMRS antenna? Because they don't know the difference, right? If they're just looking at an antenna.
Boy, I think I'm going to win you over on this one. Okay. So people that live in an HOA already have some amount of protection to have things like a satellite television antenna on the roof, or a television antenna, like, traditional terrestrial antenna on the roof. What we don't generally have is the ability to put up like a VHF vertical, or like a long wire for HF, something that's not like non-conspicuous, right? We don't have that ability. The board can step in and go, you can put up a satellite antenna, receiver, dish, but that's it. You can't do anything else. So these bills are to just request that some of the same protections that are granted to HOA owners that also want television, also want AM broadcast radio, also want traditional TV, get those same capabilities for the other radio services like amateur radio, GMRS, etc. So these bills have been introduced and reintroduced a couple of times in the House and the Senate, and they haven't gone very far. Now, The difference is that they put a lot of lobbying behind these bills this go around, and the ARRL created this website, which I'll provide this to Randy so he can check it out. Also, go watch the live stream I did with David Minster on my channel. But if you go into this website and you provide your call sign, guess what, kids? It'll fill out your first name, last name, the address that the license is attached to, and when you click Send My Letters, it will send them to the representatives in your jurisdiction that can vote to support those bills, and hopefully we can move forward and get it pushed forward in the House and the Senate and actually get everybody a little bit more protection to put up antennas.
Yeah, and I do, you didn't have to win me over. I support this. I support anything that takes power away from any entity, whether it's the government or a bunch of losers in the frickin' HOA.
All right, now we're talking. This is where Randy and I just like Wonder Twin powers activate on this one.
What does it say about HOAs that it takes an act of Congress to allow you to put an antenna?
You know why?
As dumb as that antenna may look.
They are a massive lobbying powerhouse. They have a ton of money.
HOAs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, buddy.
What, is there a big HOA for the HOAs?
There's
all
an
talking
HOA
to each
of
other? I didn't know
HOA.
that.
There's a Karen above the Karen. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
This is they have the district manager level Karen that is operating the HOAs. No, it's legit. They are a lobbying powerhouse. They have an association.
I did not know
there
that.
is an association of the associations.
So when we bought a couple of houses, I'm an old man, so I've done that a few times. And when we would go shopping for a new house, we had 2 rules: no swimming pools because we're just not pool people. No HOA, no HOA. That's like rule number 1 in house shopping. That's just it's difficult. Okay, things have changed. There are some kind of metropolitan and exterior suburb areas, and there's a lot in Texas where it's all HOA. There's almost no available properties that are not affiliated with an HOA in some of these areas, and that's the areas younger people have jobs. I know, but that's the areas where a lot of younger people have jobs, and so they're moving into these houses. They have no other option than to be in an HOA. It's very difficult. There's an area right near where I live, where the rich people live, they have an HOA. This is partially why we're not there. That and just we couldn't afford it. It's an HOA, but all they take care of or all they care about is the greens fees for the green belt. You know, the grass around the area and the fencing.
Your non-land, the land that's more the public spaces.
Right. But that would still be a no starter for me because what if
you
they
let
decide,
them in the door?
Exactly.
They grow their power. It's so easy to do that. Yeah, totally.
Right. Because they don't like the fact that I keep my Jeep on blocks out of my front yard. And so then they're going to outlaw that. So
we'll help you take care of Randy. We just need to create an association.
Well, they already have the association.
Yeah, we just need to grow the power of the association. But they won't say that.
It's for your own protection.
It's
for your own protection and security.
Protection. That's right. You don't have anything to hide, right? You want to be a good homeowner, right?
Yes.
Don't you want to be a good neighbor? Don't you want to keep the housing prices up? You know, that's the lie.
I've heard it all before.
Heard it all before. That's right.
Yes. In the last month or 2 or 3 or 6 since we were last together, I have reviewed the Baofeng DM32, the Radtel RT950 and RT950 Pro. These are all radios that cost under $100 and do almost everything that any serious radio dork could ever want to do. The DM32, it's a DMR radio, $99, right? The Radtel 950 and 950 Pro, $70, $80. They tri-band, they do everything. So, but they're cheap Chinese radios, right? That's just the fact. So, have you used any of these? What do you think about them? And are they a threat? But the big question is, are these cheap, I would say inexpensive, higher end radios a threat to, Yaesu and ICOM and whoever else makes radios that cost way too much?
Threat is such a loaded word. I think it's competition, right? It's competition in the market space. It's going to erode some of the Japanese radios, particularly the higher end ones that have had some amount of market share. But I think even those companies know that these higher end pieces of kit, somebody's not just walking into a store and going, I want the $500 one, right? They're probably going to go like, I'm looking for the $100 one anyway. So really what it's competing with is the $100 radios of those same manufacturers and the parity of features between, say, the traditionally high-quality Japanese radios versus the lesser quality Chinese radios. But, you know, the quality of the Chinese radios has gone up a lot in the last 5 years. The Chinese have always kind of beat out the Japanese radios with the amount of features that they cram into these lower dollar radios that really, again, make it an interesting competition point. But I argue that all the Japanese companies need to look at is the swath of these Chinese radios that come out, right? There's going to be some that are going to be way more popular than others. So the Japanese companies can basically look at these Chinese radios over the course of a year and go, which are the big sellers and what are those features? Those are the features we need to be adding to our next radio, and then kind of almost follow along. Think of it as like Android phones come out with these features really early and they get them to the consumer base. And then Apple comes back around and goes, well, this feature was a winner. This one was not really, it didn't bring all the boys to the yard. And this one was, yeah, we should do that as kind of like just an improvement. And then the Japanese companies, which generally do better in integration, will pull those features in, make their new radio with them, and then, oh, here you go. This has got all those features you already said you like, and it comes with the high quality Japanese, blah blah blah, better integration, better look and feel, all that stuff. That's one way this is going. But yeah, no, it's definitely a competitor in the market for sure.
Competition is good, but does a $99 Baofeng DMR radio, when compared to a $500 or $600 whatever Yaesu or ICOM or whatever you call them, that does all the same things, is that Japanese radio that costs literally 5 or 6 times more? Is it 5 or 6 times better than the Chinese radio?
Well,
not talking about features.
Yeah,
talking about how it does the features that they both have.
This is kind of a difficult kind of onion to peel back because you already started it with the word DMR. There isn't a Japanese radio that does DMR. They have their own digital modes.
So the Baofengs and the Radtels for $99, $75 can do stuff that these more expensive Japanese radios can't even do?
They have, so that's a digital voice mode that the Japanese radios don't support. Generally, I find it's because DMR as a user experience is not a fantastic one. It's improved significantly, but the programming is kind of a pain in the butt. A lot of the stuff you have to do with these radios is not the same as like the Japanese Yaesu System Fusion, ICOM D-Star, those kind of other modes of operation. That's my opinion. They have their own similarities, but yeah, is it 5 times better? I don't know.
So, all right, well, so not talking DMR. So just this Chinese radio, $100. This Japanese radio, $600.
Yeah.
Same similar features. Is $600 is the $600 one really 6 times better than the $100 one?
Probably not. The best example I can give you, it's for me. These are my 2 favorite radios. The VGC N76, which is a Chinese radio. It is $150, $170, versus the Kenwood D75, which I think was like $600 to $700, right? Big difference. They have very similar capabilities. In fact, the N76 provides more interfacing options via my phone, Android or iPhone. And for me, I carry it around a lot because I don't really care if I damage it. It's IPv6 or IP6 rated, so I've dunked it underwater. I've taken it into a pool. No problems. Goes with me all over the place. But do I have the same level of control that I have with the Kenwood? No. They're almost like 2 separate tools. But, you know, if 90% of your use case is covered by the $150 radio, then you should probably get the $150 radio until you're sure you need something more expensive.
Yeah, I think that's a big argument for me using a cheap Baofeng or any cheap radio. Went out, off-roading or hiking or whatever. If I drop that $25 Baofeng in the lake, I don't care. If I drop my Motorola XTS 5000 in the lake, I'm going in after that radio, and I'm going to care a lot.
Yeah.
Same with a expensive Yaesu, any expensive radio. So,
and here I am. I've got one of those Baofeng minis that I've been playing around with, just with I set up an All-Star node. It's this little flashy thing above my head, and I've just been interfacing it with this cheap little Baofeng. So,
does the job, and if you burn it up, you don't care.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I have a big announcement here. Baofeng Mini 5G. It's the mini GMRS version of the little mini that has not been released for sale yet. I've had that on my desk for a couple of weeks now. I'll be making a video about that.
Very good.
So I'm sure all of the people will be waiting for that. Did you?
Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Better. All right. What were you saying about spurious RF emissions? No, I do not test for spurious RF emissions. You don't,
because you don't have to. UHF
normal
is
people
outside
don't care.
I care.
Well, wait. Why don't I have to?
It's above the frequency set where you have to worry about that, is my understanding. I think
then
that's
why, Jesus, freaking why? I didn't know that. I thought that we were bound by laws or whatever of spurious RF emissions and GMRS. Why do I get so many comments complaining and griping about a GMRS radio that's got spurious RF emissions?
Well,
we don't even have to care about them.
It goes back to who your neighbors are, right? So where's GMRS?
It's way up there. It's at the top. It's at the top of the list, Josh.
It's not. It's over here.
It should be.
So you got amateur radios right there. So it's probably 1/4 up is TV or something like that. Or no, probably a little bit higher. You're probably just not messing with that many users in this space.
So what you're talking about is if my UHF, my GMRS radio has spurious RF emissions, which for normal people are little spurs or transmissions off of the main frequency at very low power that nobody would probably ever even notice.
I heard a mile away from my house on a harmonic. Using a talk pod, which is arguably the least suppressed radio, the most spurious emissions you could possibly have. So I mean, yes.
So what you're saying is that those little RF emissions, if the nearby frequencies are something that matters, and if you are physically nearby that thing, you could interfere with it. But up in GMRS range, there's less around those frequencies that matter.
That's what it seems like. I'm looking at basically think of where your first responders are at, and then we got to make sure that you're not ever going to have a situation where you have a spurious emission on the first responders. That's going to be one of the big things.
Now, most first responders around the country are on digital and trunked systems.
Encrypted as well, yes.
And, yes. Okay, many, not all. And I've seen many people leaving comments incorrectly on my videos saying that because they're digital or encrypted, my little Baofeng spurious RF emission won't interfere because it's digital.
That's right.
No, it can still interfere with the radio.
I agree with you.
Port, right?
Yeah,
okay,
I know where you're going.
They're incorrect. But if it's a trunked system, all right, so a trunked system means you've got a lot of different channels and frequencies all automatically changing in the wind that the end user doesn't see. You're not transmitting on just one frequency. But if my Baofeng has a spurious RF emission on one of those little trunked frequencies, does that really matter?
No, probably
not. I don't know enough
not.
about how trunked matters.
It depends. It depends on how utilized that system is. Like if all of your branches are in use or could be in an emergency, then you'd want all of them available. And if one was getting interfered on intermittently or permanently, you'd want to fix that. You'd want to figure out what's going on there.
So generally, on a regular Wednesday afternoon, if a trunked system is getting interference on one of its dozens, hundreds of frequencies, it's just going to not use that frequency. Just jump over it. And
the control op or the software would not.
Just ignore it.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have something you wanted to talk about?
I figured let's get to know Randy a little more, folks. So on today's segment, Josh getting to know Randy. Let's see, I've got my got my ICOM tablet here with some questions. Randy, in your course of becoming the what do you call yourself? Are you the king or queen of GMRS at this point? What do we say?
Queen of all that is GMRS.
Okay. What has been your biggest mistake in a YouTube video you put out?
Mistake is in saying something wrong.
Well, you can take that however you want. I'm not going to lead the witness on this one. I just find it interesting.
I'll take that as saying something wrong. I have said things that were incorrect. I can't, and they get pointed out very quickly on the internet.
It's YouTube.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And when that happens, usually I first make fun of the person and call them a liar, but then enough people jump in and say, no, I was wrong.
Ah, crap,
and
there's more of them.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't whack-a-mole all of them.
Right. And then I'll have to admit that, yes, I made a mistake.
Now, do you actually go back or not? I'm not going to say pull down the video, but in subsequent videos, do you go back and
I think I've only had to do that one time. I think there was one, and I don't even remember what it was, that was a significant enough mistake that I mentioned it before. Otherwise, or I mentioned it in another video. I think I even did an updated video. Usually, I'll just put in the more information section, which, by the way, apparently 90% of YouTube viewers don't even know exists.
Well, are you sure they can read?
Well, that could be the other problem.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding,
so
of course.
I'm not kidding. I'll put an update that says, I screwed up. This is the actual.
Good for you. Good sign of integrity. I kind of knew that was the case, but regardless, I wanted to ask. Let's see. What has been the most surprising, and I mean that in like a good way surprising, not like a horrible negative way, thing you've learned over the course of all these videos you've made? Because you've been able to get access to new gear, new technologies, just whatever. Like what's been kind of the most surprising in a good way thing you've learned?
I've learned that people don't like watching Jeeping videos.
Oh,
that is
surprising.
I guess, or at least they don't like watching mine. Maybe that's
okay.
I don't know that I'm surprised by. Okay, so here's the biggest.
I don't mean honest, like Randy shocked. Oh, I don't mean like that.
No.
I can't imagine that happening very much.
No, if I'm being honest, the biggest thing that surprised me is the number of, and I say this, from the bottom of my heart, with all sincerity, the number of stupid people that use YouTube. I
thought you were going someplace really nice, like from the bottom of my heart. All the people who are so kind and caring in my videos. No, it's all these freaking stupidity.
No. So yeah, that's what surprised me.
What a lob I gave Randy to run with it, Randy. Run with the balls.
That has been the biggest surprise. Now, see, there are the nice and kind and generous ones out there, but they don't surprise me because that's kind of what I expect. I don't expect everybody to be, all lovey-dovey, but I don't expect them to be what I have been surprised to see maybe the majority, a good portion of
the vocal.
Yes, they are the more vocal ones. The kinder, more gentle ones are smart enough to just Next question.
Okay. If you had to do it all over again, I guess you take it in any direction, but probably the radio stuff. What would you have focused on first, or how would you have done it differently, if anything?
No, I couldn't do it differently. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am today. It took all of those steps to get me to where I am today, and if they were different, I would be somewhere else, maybe somewhere better. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I went through a learning process with my videos. If anybody watches my channel, I started on off-roading videos that I thought were the greatest off-roading videos ever created. My mom loved them. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
So I didn't think, but nobody watched them, right? Nobody watched them. And then I kind of stumbled into the only other thing that I cared about, which was, using the radios while I'm off-roading. Mm-hmm. And more people cared about those. And I go where the wind blows, man. If suddenly everybody started watching videos of, about some stupid thing that I said or did, I would make those videos. I have no integrity. I just go where the wind blows.
Yeah.
But
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, it's
a learning experience.
That has been Josh's segment on getting to know Randy. Thank you, Randy.
Yes. I'm glad I could help, Josh.
You're welcome.
Speaking of Josh, our next channel, our next video is going to be on your channel.
Yes.
Right?
We will be.
So You'll be in charge.
Yes.
And to be kind of like that last segment, I guess, where I have no idea what's going to happen or how it's going to happen. Is it going to be live or will it be pre-recorded?
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like let's kind of like what you've been doing. You keep it under an hour. I'm noticing. I guess. I'm noticing that the live streams are. I won't say they're less popular, but you could just see it. Like YouTube is pushing for shorter form videos, right? And so these big long interviews, I know there's lots of people that watch them, and thank you for doing that. But I don't know. I think maybe we'll try to just do a nice pre-recorded thing, and then I can make it real tight, and it'll be more fun for people. Maybe we'll see. Yeah, let's try it.
Okay, all right. So that'll be sometime in the next few months, depending on how busy Josh is.
Yep, that's me. I'm telling you, it's Scouts. My oldest is now in Scouts proper. He's graduated from Cub Scouts into Scouting, and I swear this troop they love calling themselves a high adventure troop, which means they are constantly out hiking or doing something. There's always a backpacking trip and like a camping trip, a separate camping trip, like every month. They're intense. Like we're a busy troop.
Well, that's good. It's good for the
kids.
Great.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. So
you should get a Jeep.
No off-roading as of yet, because they don't really want to ride into the backcountry. They want to walk into the backcountry. A lot of hiking.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. All right, that's it. As you said, we keep it under an hour, and it's at 56 minutes.
Killed it.
Thank you for joining. We will see you again next time on your channel, whenever that is, probably in the next few months. Josh, say goodbye to all the nice
Thank
people.
you, everybody, for watching 73.
69.